Yes, it's going live. 30 seconds.
Showtime, Gus.
Yes. Hello, everyone. We'll be waiting a little bit to see if more people come.
Just a couple of minutes.
Yeah, just a couple of minutes.
So we're going to talk for probably 25 minutes, something like that, and then we've got questions, eh?
Yeah.
But all the way through, people can add questions into the chat, and then we're going to pick them up at the end.
Okay. I'm trying to find if I can see how many people are.
Hey, Keith. If anyone wants to say hello in the chat, in the comments, that'd be great. We'll be starting in about a minute and a bit. Please, if everyone can use the comments, say hello, put your questions in there during the presentation, and then we're going to pick them up, or as many as we can, up at the end.
Yeah.
Hey, Beshard. Hi, Helen.
Hello, Beshard.
Ricardo, hello.
Hello, JS. JS.
Great.
Paul Bennett, welcome. Yeah, I think we are ready to go. We can start, Andy.
Showtime.
Showtime. Let's talk about what have changed in this AI, this new AI era compared with the old SEO. And yeah, so let me share our slide. And so we'll be approaching the AI answer, the new search. And we'll be talking about this big chance to disrupt the market. That it reminds me what happened back in the early 2000s when Google started. I won't dare to say that it's a similar time because there are a lot of differences between that time and today. Because at that time, who knew how to manipulate Google would take a big advantage. And nowadays, with artificial intelligence, there is no space for manipulation. So it's especially for these machines. So Andy, please, could you share with us your thoughts about this big change that is going on, and what with customers and all the market?
Absolutely, Gus. So you mentioned early 2000s. Google have absolutely dominated the information that we get when we do a search, and have done that for over 20 years. If you had enough money, you could get rankings, whether that was organically or paid. You could invest in your own website and your own advertising, and the brand could really sort of control the narrative through Google. It became like the only place to get your information. And now things have changed absolutely astronomically. Many of us have, all of us will have an AI assistant in our pocket. Why go to Google and make your information gathering harder when you've got a tool that can serve you up something that's relevant, something that's not controlled by the brand themselves in terms of their optimization. But the thing is when you get in an answer through AI, because that's what it is, you're having a conversation, you're not doing a search, you're getting an answer, and you're only getting 2 or 3 recommendations, and that's what it is. It's a recommendation. So brands are in a really, really challenging position because they've been able to use money to dominate their positions for a long time. And there's a few stats on this slide here. You know, these stats are a year old, but like 13% of UK adults were reached by ChatGPT last May. 252 million UK visits to ChatGPT in August in 2025. You know, these numbers will have like trebled since then. And 53% of us see Google's AI answers. So yeah, Google is still being used, but you know, it's the AI element, the Gemini element of Google that's dominating that landing page. And now with changes to Gemini, you can actually have a conversation there, and you never actually see any search results anymore, or you don't need to. It's been absolutely huge change. So Gus, you know, this is really, really challenging for brands. But can you explain to everybody how you can win at AI?
Yeah, of course. Just like I mentioned in the beginning, like this is a totally different process now, because in the past it was like more about keywords, tags, descriptions, page title. Backlinks was the main factor, the main asset that a website would go after, and how Google was recognizing which website was popular and which not. And that we call like a well-optimized website. And it was based in the 4 pillars, right? So like technical side, the content, the user experience, and the backlinks. Well, SEO is still important. Like it didn't change, so it's still important. Like a website with a good technical side, with speed load, with a good content, user experience. Because also the AI search is what we call large language modeling platforms, LLM. They also rely on websites. So the old SEO is still relevant, it is still valid. But what changed? Like, what do you need to pay attention to win in AI answers is different from only SEO, only traditional SEO. So these AI platforms, they base their decisions to recommend a business on real reviews and the reputation. And of course, there are other factors like like the consistent, like a consistent story. If a AI search, if a AI platform spots that a business doesn't have the same address in different websites, they have like in the company's house is one address, and in the website it has a different address. In the one directory there is a different address, then we spot a lack of consistency, and that will affect the recommendation. It probably, if your business doesn't have this consistency, the AI platform will recommend your competitor, because your competitor will show they seems better than you to the LLM. Different from the old school, we not only optimized our websites to one specific platform like Google, but we need to optimize our website and our brand. Like if it's a business generated deliveries, like a good service, a good product, and have a good reputation, have good reviews, then there's a big probability that the AI will recommend it. The assistant like reads, like these AI platforms, they read everything. They read the whole market. And to win the game, a business needs to pay attention on its digital footprint. That's what is valid for to win this the favor, let's say, to look good for these AI platforms. And it's interesting here, like 70% depth of recommendation across ChatGPT, Claude, and Perplexity, um, and Google AI answer as well. Just the top 3 names recommend, and like 12% of what ChatGPT and Gemini Copilot sits also ranks on Google top 10. Only 12%. So it's different. The way we optimize it for LLM or AI search is different than we optimize for Google. And you run 2 experiments. You make a comparison between a local hotel and a restaurant in Leeds to see what Google rank and what AI recommends. Could you show us this experiment you did, Andy?
Yeah, of course. So we had a look for best hotel in Leeds for a weekend away. Obviously, that's really, really subjective. But if you look at the comparison side by side here, top 3 on Google, 2 of them aren't even hotels. You know, they're directories. So you've then got more and more work to do. You know, where you're getting the results, where the experiment was across Gemini and ChatGPT, you know, you're not only getting hotels because that's what you've asked for, but you're getting the reason why it thinks it's best. Now, if the word best needs to evolve, you're going to do that within the AI search. You're going to say, no, actually, what I'm thinking about, you know, I'm actually not thinking about boutique. I'm thinking about this, and you'd sort of evolve that search and you narrow it down and you get other results back. But just on a like for like here, you can see the difference in the results. You know, if you're somebody that's looking for this, why would you, once you've used AI to get a result, go back to Google to do it? You're going to have multiple clicks. Within AI, you're not getting directories. You know, Premier Inn is not featured as a best hotel in Leeds. You know, it might be if you were looking for best budget search, but not best search. So the Google results are there because that's what these website owners have done in terms of their optimization to get them there, rather than AI, which is actually looking at the full footprint of the businesses out there and is determining what best is. And obviously, as it gets to know you, it's going to start to recommend things that are more relevant to you and the way that you search as well. So I did the same example, and you know, again, like this is what Gus has just said about the 12%. You know, they are totally different results. You know, we're looking at where should I eat in Leeds tonight. You know, we haven't even got a restaurant in the top 3 of Google. You know, but we've got 3 different restaurants in ChatGPT where, you know, it's a recommendation based on, but it's a recommendation with context. So, you know, and it's backed by sources as well. You know, you can see where this information is coming from, so that you can you trust it. And I think the point we're trying to make is that when you we're all hungry for information all of the time, and we don't have a lot of time. The place you go when you get the best information is the place you go back to. When that changes, as it has now with Google not, you know, really falling away in terms of the traffic it's getting for these types of searches, when it changes, why are you going to go back? And this is why it's so important that brands are agile, because this is already upon us. So Gus, there's been a pretty high profile fail in this area, hasn't there? Do you want to just tell us all about it?
Yes, this case happened in August 2025, August last year, July and August, and it was Monday.com. It was like some newspapers, some magazines, like also digital marketing blogs as well was mentioned this case, that Monday.com was affected by the zero-click phenomenon because they had such a powerful website with SEO optimized, ranking very well, high traffic. And when AI take over, so when AI started to take over and eating the traffic from Google, their revenue was strongly affected. So because the revenue went dropped down, and the click dropped down, the click-through rate dropped down. The investors lost the trust, and the stock market price went crash. So they went down. So but they detected that. They manage well, and they turn over, like, because they after that happened, they realized the importance to be investing in generative engine optimization. So they allocated like a budget to optimize the website, optimize the brand for generative engines. Some people call answer engines. So that these two names, generative engines optimizations and answer engine optimization, refer basically to the same thing, because it's all about be mentioned in the conversations and be mentioned on AI search. And Monday.com and other businesses were affected too. Like even HubSpot, Wix, they felt that that impact of search, of AI search, and that's the same. If it affects like a big business, it certainly can affect a small business as well, a small and middle business. And if the business that pay attention and act now, they will take the advantage. Like, don't need to wait to happen like what happened with Monday.com until realize that it's important to invest in GEO and generative engine optimization. I just want to say, like, if someone have questions, please feel free to ask any question that you would like to know about, like how this LLM works, AI platforms, and also if you arrive, just send like a hello to us. That would be great, and everyone is welcome. Yeah, so is as I mentioned, like AI is taking over, right? So is something that we call a reset, not a big reset, a reset on the digital marketing arena, on the marketing arena, on people's behavior as well. And as I mentioned, it's a big chance to disrupt your market in years, in 20 years. Don't need to wait to happen what happened with Monday.com. You can act now and trigger this disruption and take advantage of your competitors. And what are your views, Andy, about this big reset and this big chance to disrupt the market?
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, this is like the opportunity is huge, and I think the businesses that are not adopting the things that they need to adopt they have their head in the sand, or they're scared, or whatever, or maybe they didn't have Google rankings in the first place. But the opportunity now is absolutely massive to disrupt. You can see stories of businesses coming out of nowhere and growing significantly as a result of the newfound traffic that they've got. And you've got examples like you've just given, Gus, where, you know, a business is you know, investors and share price is massively affected because of that huge drop in traffic. You know, this is the chance to grab the market. Like you say, it's a reset. I've not known anything like this since, I don't know, since Google introduced paid advertising. Probably. I think that they've had this dominance for all of this time, and now all of a sudden that has gone, and it's absolutely brilliant because it gives real good, genuine businesses the opportunities to stand out. And you know, I'm not saying that businesses who were performing well before on Google weren't good businesses, but they could certainly manipulate it and control it. Where it's less easy now. You know, we all know that it can be quite easy to give and get a bad review, harder sometimes than getting a good one. But, you know, you've got to look at it as though everybody's in the same boat in that. So it does all average out. But it's about that full footprint, and you know, your reputation is earned. You know, this is much more like real life. You know, not something that you can blag. This is something that is a footprint of historic information, and information that you can generate out there about your business, which we're going to go into in a sec. But an ability to really get ahead of businesses that have invested millions in achieving this sort of traffic levels in the past. But it's certainly not too late. I was in a presentation the other day, and apparently there's only 16% of businesses that are actively using AI. I think individually it's much more common, but there's still an opportunity, and there always will be an opportunity because the AI answers will change as a result of what the AI sees at the point of search. So it's very much about consistency, but like the chances now, get in there in terms of using the tools and the things that you can do to establish your reputation and be found by AI. So Gus, how do we stay on top of all of this stuff?
Yeah, first of all, I just will answer two questions here. One and two comments. That one is made by Ricardo. Ricardo said that using AI as a search is better than using Google as a search. You can get more precise information, and you could get it visually too in charts, etc., in form of presentation and simple. Yes, that's true. It's a different process, this, right? So it's not just like when you use AI, so AI do the job for you. So that's why if you look to the future, that's coming, like the agent. It's like we have agent commerce. The agent commerce will do all the job for you if you want to, for example, book a trip to Italy, let's say, and spend just £1,000 as a budget. So you inform it to the AI, and AI will do all the things for you. So is the machine that takes the decision for you. It's different than using Google search in the past, that you see a list of links, then you act and choose the links you want, right? How do you see this, Andy?
Yeah, absolutely. We've got a talk coming up, haven't we, in a couple of weeks' time on agentic commerce, and like it is the most disruptive. I keep saying this, and it's like everything's getting more and more disruptive, but it's bonkers, isn't it? And especially with voice activated search now. So you could just be saying, like you say, book me a holiday, go and buy me these pair of trainers, whatever. You're never actually experiencing the brands yourself when we get into that when we get to that stage, and it's coming. So even if you're doing a manual search in there, you're still only going to be getting 2 or 3 results, unless you keep mining it. But we don't, because we're busy, and so yeah, I think I'm looking forward to doing that talk, because I just think for e-commerce business owners, there's a huge opportunity there, and getting the tooling right to be in a position to do that is going to be vital, Gus.
Yeah, that's true. Yeah, and like back into the question, like about what we need to stay on the top of this is understand what's going on with your brand and manage. It's not about control. It's about understand and managing what's going on. Like if we spot the risks that your brand has online, you can act. So you can have the actions, right? So you cannot act in something that you don't know. So if you don't know where the issues, you can act and fix it. Then you can tell a better story to the LLM platforms, and that's why we'll be the platform Luciqo AI. That's to give this information to business, right? And I would like to ask the answer also from Beshad. Beshad just asked, like, what would happen to Google search and traffic with all these changes? Well, the traffic from Google search that's it reduced drastically. So we have the zero click. We're entering the zero click era. So if people check on Google Search Console, for example, like for a well optimized website, they might see a very high impression but very, very low clicks and very low CTR. that's because the traffic is not relevant anymore. Like it's the Google search. You can be ranking first on Google, on top 5 on Google, but the LLM, the AI searches recommend your competitor. So the AI now is important part of the customer journey. Do you agree with this, Andy?
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, you hit on a really good point earlier about it's still really important to optimize your website because that is part of it. But the AI is looking at everything, including the website and all of the citations that are out there about it. But it's just Google's just not where your bulk of your traffic is going to be coming from. That's all I think is the difference. And you've got to make sure that you are in the frame for the place where the traffic is coming from, which is these AI searches.
Yeah, that's true. Yeah, so it's understand and manage. That's the most important things in this game now. Is understand your digital footprint, understand how your brand is being perceived. Could you also and I think you have a good experience on this, managing big clients as well. I think it would be great to hear your views about this as well.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, this is what Luciqo does, right? It enables you to, as an agency or as a brand owner, gives you the information that you need to understand your own positioning and control the narrative. How we use it is, we understand how a Sensor's brand shows up, we understand how our customers' brand show up, and we understand how the competitors of all of that shows up. By being able to see based on prompts that we generate, we can then see whether we're featured or not. And that's really, really important, because then you can adjust the prompts that you put into Luciqo that enable you to start to, you've got an ability to see how you rank and what it is that's helping you to rank, or as I should say, be recommended. You're tracking your reputation. You can see the positive and the negative factors that influence your score. There's a reputation score in there, which allows you to see the things that are going in your favor and against you. But most importantly, for those prompts that you've generated, you can see who is being recommended. So you see who's being recommended, and you can see the positive and negative influences that affect their score. And then therefore you can see what it is that they've got out there in their digital footprint to be featured. It's just thinking about what you were saying earlier, Gus, around consistency. Consistency is really, really important. It has been for a long time. You probably agree, Gus. Getting in the map pack, you had to ensure your address format was consistent across every single citation where your address featured. Otherwise, Google would not trust it. But, and we're talking about basics like abbreviating the word road to RD. These types of things affected it, didn't it?
Yeah, that's true. Yeah. So it's consistency can be a lot of things, right? So it's about name, it's about address, it's about actions you take as well. Like LinkedIn, LinkedIn's a lot of people talking about, like we have even professionals, they are experts on LinkedIn, posting and how to work on LinkedIn. And LinkedIn is one of the platforms that send strong signals to the AI. So the AI searches, they read your LinkedIn page, they read your business page on LinkedIn, and they also read what you post on LinkedIn. So if you have a consistency on the postage, like if you post constantly interesting thing on your profile, as long as your profile is connected with your business, right? The consistency that you post on your LinkedIn, that will send a signal to AI search. So consistency is very important in all these aspects. The brand name, like if you have brands that are similar, you need to spot that, because that if you have a business that has a similar brand or brand name than you, and this business is not doing very well or it's not doing good, it might affect your brand. So it's important to spot it early, to see if there is any risk regarding your brand consistency. Then later be affected and see, whoa, what's going on? Why my sales drop? So what's happening? So with Luciqo, we can spot that.
Yeah, I mean, there's nothing else out there. There's nowhere else you can see all of this information in one place and query all of these engines at the same time and understand what are the factors that are giving those agents the businesses they're recommending. I mean, it's absolutely awesome. And with this information, that then enables you to spot openings, but most importantly, where you've got negative scores, you can go out and fix these things. You know, you've got to consider all of the different places where content could be. You get all of this information in a single platform. By having this is how you can see what's making your competitors look good and what you need to do to get above them and become the disruptor.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah. So how do you get recommended? I mean, it's brilliant, because by being a good business, that's like half of it. By doing good things, there will be good information out there about you. You know, it's not about sort of a visibility and having a vanity metric. You know, the business has to deliver, because if the business doesn't deliver, that's where reviews massively affect businesses. And like we just said about being consistent, you know, it's we're talking about computers looking at information that's out there. You know, the more accurate your information is and consistent across the different platforms, the more trust that content is given. And it's not, this then helps where you've got competitors that are doing dodgy things around, like farming reviews and all of that sort of stuff. That sort of stuff is really, really visible to these AI engines. But I think the most important thing for me is making sure you talked about where it counts. You know, we're talking places like Reddit. You know, Reddit is huge, isn't it, Gus, in terms of an information source?
Yeah, Reddit, Quora, all these directories, we call, the name we give it to is a fan out chain. So there is like a chain of websites that these LLM platforms, they run through to search information, and Reddit is one of them. So it's Reddit, Quora, the reviews platforms like Trustpilot, vertical reviews platforms for like the beauty sectors or travel, like Booking. All these are, how can I say, are viewed by the AI platforms. They check that.
And traditional SEO, Gus, right? Yeah, like, you know, press releases and all of that traditional stuff is now more important than ever, but for a different reason.
Yeah, that's a good point, Andy. It's indeed, like, more than ever, digital press releases is important, because if you get your brand mentioned by one big website, that sends like a strong signal. In the past was links, right? So we were like craving for links from big websites. Now it's brand citation. So if your brand is mentioned by like a big website that, like, with digital press release can help, that's a big signal, strong signal, positive signal to, of course, the article needs to talk good about your brand, because the other way around can be true as well. If we spot like a negative article that talks negative about one business name or brand, that will reflect that too. But of course, if you use a digital press release, a good strategy on digital press release, then that's great.
Absolutely. Obviously, Gus, like you and I, we both spent like well over 2 decades working in helping businesses to get ranked, right? And you know, the changes in Google's algorithms, like some massive ones, but continuous changes, were all about trying to create a natural, natural results, wasn't it? It was all about natural results, and people like us are trying to fudge it and create a little bit of unfair advantage within what is natural. Well, that's like, as far as reputation scores and stuff, that's gone now, hasn't it? You can only get recommended using AI by actually being good. It can't be fudged. You can't hide away from this stuff. And I think the thing that Luciqo does is it helps you to understand what you look like, so you can focus on making sure the world actually knows you're good. And that is the power of this software, knowing about you and knowing about what good looks like if you're not being recommended. I think you manage it like it's a discipline, like you would with any sort of marketing activities. You manage it as a discipline, and that is how you can use Luciqo to get yourself recommended on AI.
Yeah, that's absolutely right. We have two comments here. Another one from Ricardo before we close down, because we have only like 90 minutes until the end of the webinar. So Ricardo mentions, like, using Google, they give a preference to certain businesses on SponsorEd. They are located in the top of the search, and it's unfair with other business where it's located far from the top of search. Well, Google was always like that, right? So Google is still a business that is aiming money. So they and they also wanted to. They say they want to offer the best experience for the user. But we see when we make the search now, they place it before the AI overview. They place the sponsored links now, because probably when they were placing the AI overview in the top, nobody was clicking in the sponsored links, and probably they saw a drop in the income. So they now favorite the sponsored and the business that pay. What it makes sense that it does this, but we can mention that sometimes the AI search, they have unfair points as well, because they might use the content of one website and not even given a mention about the brand. So they will rely on your content, they will grab what you were informing, but they won't give any credit to you. So there are some unfair points. So, but if you know how to create this content, if you know how to communicate it with these machines, then you reduce this risk that the machine will use your content and not mention you. So if you know how to do the GEO, if you do properly brand optimization, then you can reduce this risk to happen on AI search.
Sure. Well, you're using GEO Writer and Luciqo, wouldn't you, Gus, to do that?
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
And the order is like, does Luciqo also pick up on photos and videos in Google My Business profile? That's a good question, Beshad. It relies on citations. It will pick up if there is like a content or a brand mention citations, then it will pick up. If it's a YouTube video with citations, that will pick up, but it doesn't spot like image. If it's like a offensive image or this kind of image, it still don't pick up this. It's not able to recognize videos or photos.
Yeah, you can't like use metadata, for instance. You can't go spamming with visual content using metadata to get additional citations.
Yeah, exactly. So if
cool. I was just going to say, I'll just move on to the last slide while we're just doing the questions as well. But there's free trial of Luciqo. Get it and get your brand set up on there, and then see how you're ranking, I say.
Yeah, see how ranking was a old game, right? As written there, be recommended is the one. So Luciqo will show you if you are being mentioned, and also show the sentiment behind if you are mentioned, if you are recommended. The the sentiment also is very useful if you compare with your with your competitor, because it will show like I say 50%. If you have a prompt, and in the prompt that is comparing with your competitor, and it's below 50%, then means that the recommendation is more for your competitor. But if it's above 50%, then it's more favorable to you. And once we spot that, then we can work and take actions. If the machine is recommend your competitor, then you can take actions to influence in a more positive way the machines. Yeah, I think we still have 5 minutes. If someone has more comments or more more questions. Hello, Sandra. Welcome.
Hey, Sandra.
Yeah. Yeah. So it's yeah. So I wanna thanks everyone that came to this this webinar. Just keep yourself hydrated. Try not to melt with this hot weather. If you're here in Leeds, it's 29 Celsius. Imagine London how it is, huh?
At least 5 degrees warmer. Great. Nice one. No more questions. Thank you, Beshad. And if there's no more questions, are we done?
Yeah. So yeah, I think we are done. And thank you, everyone. Please sign up on Luciqo if you wanna have this make a difference in this game and have an advantage, and understand how your footprint is online. Like we Luciqo, one thing we differ from the other tools is the transparency. So we show what really is affecting, and try to be closer to 100% not hallucinated, because many tools, you don't know, like if I was testing search SEMrush, they show your presence, but what is bringing where is the presence, right? So is on Luciqo, our differential is this transparency on the information you have. Thank you, Ellen. Thank you, Paul. Thank you for your attention. Thank you for staying with us until now. You would like to add something, Andy, before we say bye?
No, just to say thank you very much. It's a brilliant piece of kit, and it's exactly what is needed for businesses right now. So hope people give it a try if they haven't done already. And but whatever you do, make sure that you're thinking about how your brand shows up in the new way of search.
All right.
Thanks very much.
Thank you, everyone. Thank you, Andy. Thank you, everyone.